Warm greetings from the high 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans, and thanks for joining me. I hope you all had a very safe and lucrative weekend. A tragedy befell Houston, Texas, and I'm sure most of you have heard of the events, because there were casualties over the weekend. I want to give you that set information. Know that today I will be bringing you back-to-back lives pertaining to breaking news and updates to stories that I have covered on the network. I'm going to bring you this tragic event out of Houston, Texas. Once again, more tragedy befalling Houston, Texas. I don't know if it's something in the water or what it is. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much. What to know about the Houston Astroworld tragedy? If you need a source, the New York Times is bringing the said information. 8 people were killed at a Travis Scott concert in Houston. Investigators said a crowd surged toward the stage, but the cause remains unknown. In the said commentary, you will see the mayor, Sylvester Turner, addressing reporters regarding this event that took place on Friday night. At least 8 people were killed and dozens more were injured at a concert in Houston after a large crowd began pushing toward the front of the stage during a performance by the hometown rapper Travis Scott. The concert was part of the Astroworld Music Festival, a 2-day event that began on Friday. About 50,000 people were assembled there on Friday night when the injuries occurred, according to the Houston Fire Department. It appears to be one of the deadliest crowd-controlled disasters at a concert in the United States in many years, recalling the 1979 crush outside the doors of a show by The Who in Cincinnati that left 11 people dead and stunned the nation. Here's what we know so far. The cause of the surge remains under investigation. It was still unclear what prompted the crowd to surge forward, but witnesses describe a chaotic scene before and during the concert, with many people in the back trying to push to the front. One concert goer, Nima Dejavad, I can't if I'm pronouncing her name right, Vadazidi, said that event was hectic from the beginning. I got there around 3 and saw people already struggling to stand straight, she said. There was a lot of mob mentality going on, people willing to do whatever to be in line for merch, food, shows, you name it. A lot of fights broke out throughout the day. The crush of the crowd was so intense that it left no room to move, some attendees said. You can literally jump in the air and you're there in the air. It's like if your hands are up, your hands are staying up, Vanessa Johnson, 20, said. The signs of trouble were not immediately apparent. Videos posted by concert goers on social media showed a chaotic scene near the stage, with some people in the crowd pleading for help and others unaware of any serious problems. In one video, which was posted on YouTube that has since been removed, Mr. Scott was on stage and heard telling the crowd, "I want to see some rages. Who want to rage?" Moments later, he could be heard saying, "There's an ambulance in the crowd. Whoa, whoa, whoa," apparently trying to calm the commotion. For several seconds, there was no music. Mr. Scott looked toward the crowd, and the red and blue lights of an ambulance could be seen amid the sea of people. Then Mr. Scott said, "If everybody good, put a middle finger up in the sky." As the music resumed, Mr. Scott urged the crowd to make the ground shake. The concert continued for about another 30 minutes, then ended with Mr. Scott waving to the crowd and jogging off stage as he said, "I love y'all. Make it home safe. Good night." Was security adequate? The city's mayor, Sylvester Turner, said it was too early to say whether the security operation was adequate or what led to the deaths. The mayor, who has known Mr. Scott's family for years, described a robust security operation. "We had more security over there than we had at the World Series games," he said, noting that the event took place on county property with the security organized by the city of Houston. There were 505 event security staff members, 91 armed private security officers, and 76 officers from the Houston Police Department at the event, officials said at a news conference. The authorities elected not to shut down the concert too quickly. Live Nation, the concert organizer, stopped the concert roughly 30 minutes earlier than planned, around 10:10 p.m., 40 minutes after city officials said the mass casualty event had begun. The Houston police chief, Troy Finner, said that officials worried that ending the concert quickly could make the situation worse. "You cannot just close when you got 50,000 and over 50,000 individuals," he said. "We have to worry about riots, when you have a group that's that young." The victims were young. The crowd was young. 8 people, ranging in age from 14 to 27, with one age unknown, died. Hundreds of people were injured, including a 10-year-old who was taken to a hospital. Those who died include Franco Patino, 21, a senior at the University of Dayton in Ohio. John Hilgert, 14, a freshman at Memorial High School near Houston. Brianna Rodriguez, 16, a student at Heights High School in Houston. Rudy Pena of Laredo, Texas. Danish Babe, whose brother said he was trying to save a sister-in-law from being trampled. Jacob E. Jernick, 20, a junior at Southern Illinois University at Carbondale. Axel Acosta, 21, a junior at Western Washington University in Bellingham, Washington. And Madison Dubisky, 23, who worked at a Houston-based advertising agency. Travis Scott's concerts are known for their chaotic energy. Since emerging from Houston in the early 2010s, Mr. Scott has become one of the rap's most ambitious figures, pushing the boundaries of entrepreneurship and of the artist's role as a purveyor of branded products and fan events. The Astroworld Music Festival, now in its third iteration, is named after his 2018 album, Astroworld, which drew debate in the music industry over Mr. Scott's extensive use of retail bundles using various merchandise items, sweaters, t-shirts, ashtrays, and more to help drive sales of the album and boost its position on the Billboard chart. Mr. Scott has also earned a reputation for concerts that feature high-concept stage production, as well as wild, chaotic energy from his audience. In 2015, Mr. Scott pled guilty to charges of reckless conduct after he encouraged fans at Lollapalooza in Chicago to climb over security barricades and onto the stage. 2 years later, Mr. Scott was sued by a fan who said he had become paralyzed after being pushed from a third-story balcony and dragged on stage while the rapper performed in Manhattan. Soon after the Astroworld concert, Kylie Jenner, Mr. Scott's girlfriend, posted a response in an Instagram story. Travis and I are broken and devastated, she said, offering condolences to the victims' loved ones. I want to make it clear we weren't aware of any fatalities until the news came out after the show, and in no world would have continued filming or performing. Observers had criticized the artists and event organizers for not stopping the show sooner once the violence and chaos became violent. Mr. Scott also posted a video story to his Instagram account. I'm honestly just devastated, and I could never imagine anything like this just happening, Mr. Scott said, rubbing his forehead in a distraught manner. I'm going to do everything I can to keep you guys updated and just keep you guys informed of what's going on. Love you all. If you need verification for this information I'm bringing to you, the NewYorkTimes.com is the source. Thank you all so much for joining me. This is a tragic event. And let me say, this is an early investigation into the events that took place on Friday night. I will be bringing you also another piece of information, a source of information pertaining to Mr. Scott's commentary and the refund of all sales tickets for this weekend's event. That will be my second source, but I will not give my opinion solely because it's early on and tragedy has befallen many music events with people, because anything is possible at an event where you have lots of people and people are moving about, jumping, screaming, hollering, pushing, shoving. That is the start of any tragedy. It's when people are hyped up to music. It has happened in many places, nightclubs, concerts, inside, outside. I think most of you know that. And most of you have been young, you've lived, you've gone to concerts, parties, clubs. Anything can jump off when there are a lot of people. And especially if you mix in alcohol, that's a whole nother realm, okay? I do not know if alcohol was served at this event, but I'm just saying in general. So I don't want anything to get misconstrued about the information that I'm bringing you. Okay, New York Times. It's the first source. This is my second source of information. Thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you, sweetheart. Hello. Variety is the second source. Travis Scott to refund all Astroworld attendees canceled days in Vegas festival appearance. Travis Scott will not perform at this weekend's Day in Vegas festival, Variety has confirmed. The headlining appearance at Las Vegas Festival grounds was scheduled for Saturday, November 13th, less than a week after his own Astroworld festival took place at Houston's NRG Park, where 8 attendees died, ranging in age from 14 to 27. Sources describe Scott as too distraught to play and reveal that he will provide full refunds for all attendees who bought tickets to Astroworld. In the days after the tragedy, much has been learned about the sequence of events that led to the cardiac arrest of several concert goers, and at least one stabbing of a police officer with a hypodermic needle, along with hundreds more who were injured in the 50,000-strong crowd. According to the Houston Chronicle, police and firefighters declared a mass casualty event at 9:38 p.m., 32 minutes after Scott's set began, when crowd surges reportedly started. The paper reported that promoters agreed to find a way to cut the concert short soon after 9:38 casualty report, but that the show continued until Scott ran through his planned set list and finished as scheduled at 10:15 p.m. Houston Police Chief Troy Fenner has defended letting the show play out, saying that an abrupt halt could have caused a riot, but noted that the festival was not undermanned and that the number of officers on hand should have been sufficient to handle a crowd of 50,000 under normal circumstances. The concert, which included Drake coming on stage for the final songs of Scott's performance, was being webcast live to a worldwide audience by Apple Music. The second night of the festival, planned to unfold Saturday, was immediately canceled as the events of the casualties of the first night became evident. Like Astroworld Day in Vegas, its general admission festival, where under normal circumstances, fans are left to jockey for prime positions. Scott was to hit the main stage, dubbed the Frank stage, from 10:45 p.m. to 11:45 p.m. on Saturday night, following sets by Lil Baby and Doja Cat. Roddy Ricch, who played ahead of Scott at Astroworld on Saturday, pledged his festival earnings to the families of those who died, has a main stage slot at Day in Vegas on Friday. Kendrick Lamar is set to headline. Tyler, the Creator, headlines on Sunday. No word yet from AEG, corporate parent of Golden Voice, the festival's promoter, about a replacement for Scott's Saturday night slot or a rearrangement of current set times. If you need verification for the said information, Variety is the source. So Travis Scott will not be performing on the 13th, which is this upcoming Friday in Las Vegas. He is refunding all ticket goers who purchased tickets for this upcoming event, and he has told the public that he is very remorseful for what took place on Friday night's events. Many have deemed his concerts for very chaotic. He's been accused of asking the people to rage, blah, blah, blah. The thing about a concert is what it is. Anything can happen, as I just stated. Anything can happen, whether it is an inside, outside concert. Okay? If it's a club, if it's in a park, anything can happen. I brought you commentary where people spoke and said there were fights throughout the day. So you see, anything can happen at a concert. A person could shoot a gun. Naturally, people will start to run. Okay, let's say someone shot a gun off. People will run. Naturally, there's going to be some trampling. You're talking about 50,000 people strong. That's a lot of people to start pushing, shoving, running. And naturally, if you're pushing from the back, the middle, the side, whichever it started, because who the hell's going to know? It's over with now, so you'll never probably know the truth of what started the event to pop off. But when people start shoving, the weight of the people pushing is falling on the weight of the next person, and then the next person, and then the next person. And you're talking about 50,000 people being pushed by more people. So that weight of the first that starts, and then somebody else joins in, and then now all these people, depending on the number, are pushing into other people. And then those people have no way to stop the pushing because the weight is falling upon them. So now they're falling on top of somebody by accident, or falling into them by accident because of the weight of the other people pushing. And it's not their fault. Because that's the whole point. Who are you going to blame? Who's going to step up and say, yeah, I was one of the party goers that were pushing people? And really, you have no reason to be shoving people. But that's neither here nor there. Now, was the concert properly staffed? The chief says yes. They had more people staffed than they had at the World Series games. Okay? So that's what's going to be the determination of this said tragedy. Was it properly staffed? Because you also have to remember, with a crowd of 50,000 people, even if you have so many officers per 100 people, persons, however the number is, you got to be able to get in the crowd for whatever's going on in the crowd. So it wouldn't matter if it was a shooting, shoving, pushing, a fight, disagreement, I've got to be able to get in there to see who has the problem. So you've got to push your way in, once again, doing the same thing what they're doing, to get in to see where the problem is. So imagine that. Because now we have to ask ourselves, where were the officers lined up and the security staff? Were they on the outside of the crowd, or were they inside with the crowd dispersed? I do not know. This is a tragic event. And I do feel sorry for Mr. Scott, because who would want this on their name? He's a moneymaker, obviously. He knows how to brand himself. As you see in the commentary I brought you by the New York Times, they said he brands himself almost being kind of negative. Well, that's what you're supposed to do when you are famous. You're supposed to brand yourself. You are a brand. Your name is a brand. Once you become famous, for whatever reason, your name is now a brand. So you're going to try to make money off your name by all means necessary. That is what people do. And that is what people will continue to do. He obviously has the mind for greatness. He has the mind to make money. He's a go-getter. That's obvious. But sadly, unfortunately, on this weekend, tragedy befell him, citizens of Houston, Texas. And Houston has already had enough craziness going on with the events of the child being found in the apartment dead, and I will be bringing you a live pertaining to that after this live. This is just a sad, sad, sad time for Houston, Texas. But you have to always remember, anything can happen in an event with people, whether it's inside or outside. Tragedy has befallen so many music events, whether it was a rapper, singer, whomever going to a nightclub. Even if the nightclub is big, you're still talking about a lot of people packed in. They're hyped. They're on alcohol, other drugs, narcotics, and people just act a donkey ass. That's just what people do, donkey's ass, And you, somebody that's trying to enjoy yourself, you don't have control over other people. And that's the thing about going to an event, whether it's inside or outside. You don't have the fortitude to know what's going to jump off with other said people. That's just the thing about it. Well, a person doesn't have control over what people are going to do at a concert, whether you're raging or not. You're supposed to have the crowd hyped. That's the purpose of a concert. Who wants to go to a concert where people are just standing around looking at each other? You want the crowd hyped, but that's the point. You're talking about 50,000 people. There's no way you can control 50,000 people. I don't care what the race is. I don't care what the music is. What kind of music it is. It could be rock. It could be R&B. It could be rap. It could be anything. You don't have control over 50,000 people. You don't have control of 100 people in a room if something breaks out. Whether it's pushing, shoving, a fight breaks out, people start running. That's how people get trampled, is when people start running. Everybody knows that. Anything is possible at a concert. So prayers for the victims, families. The worst case scenario, besides the deaths of these said people, will be people suing Travis Scott and the promoters of this said event. I'm sure that will be the next thing to come out of this scenario, that there will be lawsuits against Mr. Scott and his entities. I do not know how that will come out. Hello, everybody in the chat. But as I said, in a concert, anything is possible. I remember a few years ago, in my heyday, when I was a young woman, I went to a rap concert at a hotel in Memphis, Tennessee. And 8 Ball was performing in MJG. And let me tell you, in that hotel room, hotel designated room, it was like probably a hall. That floor shook, literally. It was scary as hell. I was just as hyped as the other party goers, but the more he rapped, the harder that floor shook. And this is my living testimony today, because that's the point. I could have been a tragedy myself in a room, because when you have a crowd of people, anything can happen. You don't have control of other people. And I don't remember him trying to hype up nobody or telling nobody to push or shove. It was the people who were hyped, and they were started pushing each other, which I guess that's what raging is. I don't know. I don't stay up on the latest lingo of young people. Okay. But a dude was pushing, and I looked at him and I said something to him because you know the queen is still the same. Okay. Even at 30 years old, I'm still the same at 50. I looked at him and I said, why are you pushing me? You damn right. Right in the crowd where the room was rocking, they were pushing and shoving. I told him, and he was like, it's 8-Ball, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking at him like, I don't give a damn who on that stage. You're not getting ready to push me. So that's the point of this story. You don't have control of the people. Because even though I'm looking at this dude who's pushing me, because they're rocking back and forth and pushing people. That's what they do, I guess, at that time. And I guess, obviously, they still do that. They push into each other. But that's how people get hurt. Because you push somebody, then somebody falls. Then somebody else falls. Now, somebody's being trampled upon. All because you're trying to have a good time. And we already know that's not a good time to be pushing and shoving people. It's an idiotic thing to do. But like I said, who are you going to blame? Who can you blame for another person or persons deciding to push and rock each other in a club setting? You don't have any control. And I can tell you, it was a hype situation. I was having a good time, but I also was leery once I saw how crunk the crowd got. And the more he rapped, the crunker they got. And I'm telling you, that damn floor shook in that damn room as if it was an earthquake. That's how much weight was in that room, pushing and moving and rocking, because they were rocking and pushing into each other. So I'm a living witness to being in a room where that has taken place. Luckily, nobody got hurt. Nobody got trampled, but it happens. Sadly, 8 people died and other people are injured. And then it also said in the commentary that an officer got stuck with a hypodermic needle. What the hell was that all about? Who the hell is carrying a needle around? And so as you see, rumors were starting because my friend, he was talking about, I think somebody was shooting people with needles, and that's how rumors get started, unsubstantiated rumors. But in this commentary I bring to you, a police officer was in an altercation with someone and got stuck with a needle. Now, what was in that needle? I do not know. But that to me is just, yes, despicable. Why in the world would you even have a needle on you, period, at a concert? What the hell do you need a needle for? So we will learn more as they get the investigations of what happened to the people who died, those who went into cardiac arrest, who possibly lived. We will find out what is the truth to the deaths of the people, those who got injured. Because see, it's just like what I just said. People are standing behind you, beside you, in front of you. And the closer you are to the stage, yes, you are damaged goods. Because you're talking about the weight of the people behind you and beside you. And 50,000 people crammed into a space, like the guy said, just with your hands up in the air, that's your only movement, is an accident waiting to happen. Because you don't have any wiggle room, movement. So imagine in 50,000 people, you needing to go to the restroom. You want to go get something to drink. You're dehydrated. You know it's hot. You can be outside, but you're crammed in with 50,000 people. You don't have much breathing room, oxygen level to breathe. You have to think about all of that. You don't have much room to breathe, to move about, move your arms, hold your arms up, hold your arms out. You have no room. So it is a recipe for disaster. 50,000 people. Think about that number. That's a lot of people. And the race has nothing to do with it. The music has nothing to do with it, because tragic events happen in all demographics, whether it's music, sports events. Tragedy befalls crowds, period. It doesn't matter what type of music it is. It doesn't matter the race of the people. It does not matter. When you are closed in a closed space, you are asking for trouble. Anything can happen. I want to thank you all for joining me. If you want to donate to the channel, $ DeGanji 129 Cash App. I will be coming back with another live pertaining to Gloria Williams, the mother who left her children alone in an apartment alongside the boyfriend, and one child found deceased inside of the apartment. I will bring you an update to that story and other updates because I'm way behind on my stories. I'm sorry I didn't bring you the Anthony Soul case. I've just been busy and distracted, and I haven't had I just haven't really had the strength to do any commentaries as of late because I've just been like burnt out and I've really just needed my rest. But I thank you all for joining me. Prayers for the victims of this Astroworld event. Prayers to Travis Scott. I don't know what's going to happen, if there will be any liabilities on his part, if he will be sued or not. But when I get this information, I will bring it to you. And once again, have a safe day, a safe week. God bless all of you. Stay safe. If you see something, say something. Thank you. This is Everyday Shenanigans.